Imagine you are gliding across the vast ocean off the coast of British Columbia. The sound of waves crashing mixes with the heavy breaths of giant sea monsters. You are Raven Delacroix, a famous killer whale hunter, your hands stained with blood. From decades of catching these majestic creatures for science and business, the crew on the ship cheers, excited about a successful hunt ahead. Everything seems perfect, until in a flash, your hunting energy turns you into the prey for wild instincts. Huge jaws close around your body, pulling you into the ocean depths, where your teammates' screams mix with the violent churning water. This is the horrifying reality Raven Delacroix faced. Tragedy not just about death, but about human arrogance against nature's power. Raven Delacroix was born in a small coastal village in Alaska in the 1980s, where the sea was life and killer. Whales, also called orcas, were symbols of fear and respect. From a young age, Raven was drawn to them. Sleek black and white creatures longer than 9 meters, with smart minds and strength to crush prey in seconds. But instead of worship, Raven chose hunting. With over 20 years of experience, he became one of the top hunters, working for research companies and sometimes marine parks, where orcas were caught for shows. Raven was proud of his skills. He knew how to lure them with bait, use huge nets, and even dive near them to attach tracking devices. Colleagues called him the ocean conqueror, but deep inside, Raven had a deadly flaw: arrogance. Believing humans could control what belongs to the ocean. On a foggy morning in 2015, Raven led a hunting trip off Namu, the place of the first orca captivity tragedy. The goal was to catch a young orca from the C1 pod, like Namu, years ago. Their ship approached the orca group, with Raven on deck holding a sedative gun. The orcas swam around, seeming curious rather than threatened. Raven jumped into the water in his diving suit, confident his experience would protect him. He got close to the leader orca, a huge female he named Shadow, and fired a dart. But then, the mood changed. Shadow did not react as expected. Instead, her instinct to protect her young rose up. With terrifying speed, Shadow rushed forward, her jaws clamping tight on Raven's leg, pulling him deep. Raven's cries for help echoed underwater as Shadow shook violently, crushing his thigh bone and causing deadly wounds, broken ribs, punctured lung, blood spreading red in the sea. His teammates on the ship panicked, throwing ropes and firing flares to distract. But Shadow's 8-ton strength made every effort useless. Raven was held underwater for over 2 minutes, his body twisting in the chaotic current. When Shadow finally let go, Raven's body floated to the surface, motionless. Divers pulled him onto the ship, trying CPR, but the injuries were too severe. Serious internal damage combined with drowning, Raven was declared dead on the spot, leaving a horrifying scene that witnesses could never forget. Raven's tragedy spread through the hunting and animal protection communities. He was seen as one of the best hunters, with an unbreakable bond to orcas. But that made many wonder, was Shadow's wild instinct just a natural response? Or were warning signs from past tragedies ignored? Colleagues and family held a private funeral near the sea, where they remembered Raven's passion, courage, and dedication to his job. But his death also sparked anger. Maybe Ocean Ventures, the company that hired him, could have done more to prevent it. Maybe the orca group's unusual behaviors, from climate change and pollution, were warnings. And most important, should humans interfere with wild orcas' lives after the incident? Ocean Ventures paused hunting operations. Shadow was tracked and moved to a coastal sanctuary in Washington, where she could live more naturally without disturbance. Raven's tragedy opened many eyes to the risks of hunting orcas. But what if the next victim was not a hunter? Mysterious and scary incident happened at SeaWorld Orlando, involving a visitor in Telecom, the orca with a haunted past, turning curiosity into a horrifying tragedy. It was a quiet July night at SeaWorld Orlando, where Daniel Dukes, a 27-year-old drifter with a troubled history, sneaked into the orca tank. Daniel, with a strange belief that orcas are spiritual beings, climbed over the fence and jumped into the water next to Telecom, the 5.4-ton orca. The attack happened fast. Telecom charged up, smashing ribs and pulling Daniel down, biting a sensitive area before releasing his body to float up. Daniel's death sparked debates about captivity, reminding that tragedy starts not from the attack, but from tearing orcas from their free ocean. This story reminds of Namu, the first orca hunted in 1965. Pulled from the sea into a Seattle pool where it became a star but died from illness due to pollution. Then to Keiko, the orca from the movie Free Willy, released but unable to adapt, dying from pneumonia after 2003. These tragedies, like ravens, are harsh reminders. Humans can hunt and control, but the price is always suffering and undeserved death. In the end, the ocean does not forgive arrogance, and those who challenge it, like Raven Delacroix, will forever be swallowed by its darkness.